Okay, welcome to the show, Baba Yoahzer. You are a young elder passionate about community affairs. You are a storyteller, spoken word artist, and community builder. Your open mic platform is called the Monday Night Vibe Out, where every week you challenge community members to elevate themselves through exposure to art. You're a father of 5, dedicated your life to your father's mission, not relocating the home continent of Nubia, and also to restore the continent to the height of its wealth and power and combat the effects of colonialism. So there's loads to talk with you about. Thank you so much for joining us, and please do tell us more.
Absolutely. I got my open mic that we're bringing back. We've been on hiatus for a few weeks. I'm passionate about my people, passionate about building, centralizing some resources for our people to really grow from, because you can say like African peoples in the diaspora are suffering from lack of resources, but that's not the whole truth. It's a suffering from a lack of proper resource distribution and also resource usage. We have access to a lot of resources, but sometimes you need somebody along to teach you how to use them and to distribute them properly. So that's kind of like where my areas of passion lie, and then repatriation as well.
Yeah.
I'm happy you're here because with the spoken word, that's music too.
Yeah.
Right. And so Music for Global Change is about songs that heal, educate, and solve problems. Right. And I started this basically about 20 years ago. But since I've been over here, I got it going. They get me over here. At home, they're not ready for really social conscious music yet.
Mm-hmm.
They can't find any way to make money off of it, but I will. I plan to do festivals and bring in great artists from around the world who write social conscious music. What I mean? And but we got to get you up there on the stage too. I have to get you over here and
absolutely
let you do your thing. Now, do you work with some musicians as well?
I do. My co-host of the Monday Night Vibe Out is a singer-songwriter who plays piano and guitar. So that's my right hand. But also a lot of my family members are musicians, and we just work with general musicians in general. I know for spoken word, when I do spoken word, I rarely have musical accompaniment, but for our events, we try to make sure that there's live music because as live music has a different type of vibrational effect on people.
Of course,
being able the something about the vibration of a guitar playing in front of you is different than it being playing over a recording. And that's so right. We try to, as a part of the mission to use art to heal people, we try to make sure as many live musicians as we can possibly have. We'll do. Mm-hmm.
What kind of venues are you using? So
right now we're at the Royal Crown Barbershop in the West End. Yeah, we're at so it's a smaller space. And that's the space that we founded. So the Monday Night Vibe Out, we started it in 2014. Very serendipitously, it started around the same time as the state-sanctioned murder of Michael Brown. And our space became like a movement space pretty quickly. And I got involved with like movement for Black Lives through that ability to like bring art to the forefront, so I performed at a lot of the spaces and events, and I even spoke at a lot. I became a speaker or like one of the leaders of that movement, platforming off of the Monday Night Vibe Out platform. And so we did that for a few years. 2016, it got heavy for me because I was having children. I had just got married in 2015. And so I stopped doing it. So we restarted it again this year.
So do you invite artists to come and then you put them in places where it keeps moving all night?
Yeah. So our platform is half open mic, half community discussion. So we sparse the artists out. We do invite artists, but the formatting from the perspective of like TV, like a television variety type show.
Okay.
Our formatting, we like to keep it growing because actually the next season, I'm excited about it. We're going to be like filming it and making an event. Sometimes the artists are the forefront, but we really like the questions to be the forefront of like the conversation. And then we like for the art to elevate the conversation and the conversation to elevate the art. Because as a spoken word artist, I always found I started doing spoken word semi-professionally in 2008 when I joined this group called the Illiterati out of the Atlanta University Center. And we found that, poets were able to create socially conscious conversation that other artists were not, because it's like you expect it from a poet. It's expected for you to approach the issues. It's not expected of a singer-songwriter to approach the issues. So I've kind of kept that thread throughout my career of like creating events, of like using that medium to elevate how we talk and what we talk about.
Okay. And it's community based, right?
Absolutely.
Carrying on a little bit about your open mic platform, is this recorded or could it be recorded? And if so,
we're going to start recording it. So it was important for myself and my host to kind of like, when we brought it back, to get the vibe right, basically, before we started attempting to record, because really it's a healing space. Okay. And so that's difficult to record, because like when you go to YouTube to watch something, you want to be entertained. It's difficult to pass healing on through. Like we have to figure out how to format that. So, we've had some really strong healing energy, as a matter of fact. So we do these breathing exercises, right? We're working with the videographers to figure out how to bring our exact energy to film. That's why we didn't start out filming it, right?
Right.
So we open up with breathing exercises, and we've been able to help people like really expand their awareness of self through just simply doing a 4-count breathing exercise at the beginning of the vibe out.
Absolutely.
What does a breathing exercise look like?
Yeah.
The basic one that I've been given to give by one of my yogi masters is to just breathe in for a count of 4, to hold it for 4, and to breathe out for 4.
Right.
Our teachers, my mother's a yogi, and her teacher prescribed that you should do at least 5 minutes of controlled breathing every day. So what that looks like is you can do that 4 count for 5 minutes, or you can do it for 2 minutes, and then later in the afternoon you can do it for another 2, and before bed you can do it for 1. So much is in the breath. It's a really expansive practice. So we try to bring, like, the goal of the vibe out is I have this saying that art creates empathy, right? I believe that at the core of what makes human beings better is that human beings need more empathy. When you move into an environment and human beings are being empathetic towards each other, that's where you get people acting like a community. Very few things can create empathy like art. Art creates a sense of empathy in people because it puts you in touch with the awe-inspiring beauty of the world. And so we use like really dope art to help people to like become more in tune with self. And then we try to do these exercises. Sometimes they're mental exercises, like meditation exercises and breathing exercises, to try to elevate the people that's involving themselves, so that it becomes like this double helix of creative healing energy. Like I said, as I've described it, I haven't, like, we've attempted to capture it on film, but like I didn't put it up because it's like, we got to get it right.
To be honest, it sounds like something I'd want to sit and watch on YouTube and just relax. I mean, it sounds very relaxing. Is that because when you call it a vibe out, it sounds to me like a really relaxing kind of deep breathing, kind of something I'd want to sit and chill to.
We're working on it. And we're also at the interesting place as artists where Thurston and I, my co-host, started doing art together in 2008. And what we found is that, like, if you want to stay in art, you have to continue to elevate your presentation. Right. So like, I want this thing to look like a movie when it come out. I don't want it to look like what we were shooting on our phones in 2008. I want it to look
right. Yeah.
Because you have to, because I got kids. I got 5 children. Like, I can't justify not putting something that will put food on their table. It's got to be able to be that good. So that's what we're working towards.
Wow. And how do you make a living at that?
So it's been a lifelong mission to try to do our best to make a living off of art, and unfortunately, I've only been able to do it a couple times in my life. Currently, I don't make a living off my art, but that's what our next season is going to be about. It's like an experiment. Say, hey, if we give it our all, if we package it properly, we put it out properly, and we want to get noticed by maybe some film houses or some, those the streaming services. Like, can this really be something that supports us? Because the interesting thing, like, about the arts is that in society, the arts used to have a place. Like, it used to be much more legitimate. It used to be legitimate to say, I'm a painter. There was a legitimate path for you to be a painter and to support yourself. But in today's world, it's like a ridicule that comes along with it. It's like, oh, you're that's nothing. You're not doing nothing with your life. When in fact, we find that art is it's the thing that separates societies. It's the thing that if you're looking for the thing that makes your society better than anyone else on the planet, it's your art. It's That's art right. and education. And so we've downed art and only raised up education, when the quality of education becomes much more robotic when you remove art. They have to move in tandem. And so now, our mission is to figure out, okay, well, there's a whole quadrant of humans in the Western world who don't feel like legitimate people because they're artists. And that's not fair. And so a part of our mission with the Vibe Out is to say, let's figure out a way to sit down and put a budget behind this to make it really high art and to work for us, and then put the blueprint out for others to follow. So that's the current mission. But transparently, we have not succeeded so far. We've just been doing art. Thurston has released an album he's made some money off of. I've gotten paid to do poetry, but nothing that could support me full time. So that's the next mission is, can I be supported full time, if we give it our all and present it well.
What do you think, Tom?
I think it sounds amazing, and I think you should crack on and do a YouTube channel or something with it on, because I personally think, I genuinely believe that's something people would want to sit down and listen to and just vibe out to it. Literally, just like your sort of title suggests, something you can literally just watch and dip into and dip out of. You don't have to watch every episode. I could see that being a real plus. The fact you can go to it, you got somewhere, because I can't go to it because I'm not where you are. Right. But I could if you were in some way able to. I see it personally as being audio visual, not just like a podcast or a right. I mean, I listened to some of your podcasts that you did. Obviously, the spoken word and the poetry that you got there, great as a you can just sit and listen. But with that, with the Vibe Out, I see that being a whole experience, like a show, exactly like you said there. So that I think that'll be fantastic.
Hopefully, when we, bring it, I appreciate that even feedback. Hopefully when we bring it, we just want that to be represented, because I think that we've really created something special in these small rooms, and we just want to be able to capture it well so that it can be special for everyone else as well. Because there's also the other thing that I have to say about artists is, artists always have to create their magnum opus. You have to create your great work of art, the thing that you really want to help change the world. And I think that so many artists are holding back on making it because they don't know how the world is going to receive it. And so that's another reason why I'm trying to push through in my own organizing to say, okay, well, this is my magnum opus, and I want it to touch the world, because there's so many artists and writers and singers who you can't even make the great piece of art because it's for the people. If you make a great piece of art for you, it's okay. But ultimately it's to share, to help people to grow, to have people to get introduced to the concept of whatever it is. And if we just, because we feel illegitimate in this society, we stop at the door of nobody's going to care. And I think that people should, really, I want to inspire people to put theirs out, whatever it is. If it's your great novel, if it's your great song, whatever it is, you should put it out and let the world, really pay attention to it.
Absolutely. Fantastic.
Well, we have to, first of all, we got to come up with a serious marketing mechanism for each entity, right? And so with 8 billion people on the planet, there's so many singers, there's so many spoken word people, and you know what I mean? But we got to create the market for each entity. So how would you go about that?
Well, business is something I'm passionate about. And to me, I've broken down the business principles into 2 simple things. Is make a dope product and then tell as many people as you can about it. Once your product is dope, once you spend time solidifying it and making it as best as you can, then your job is to literally relentlessly tell as many people as you can about it. And so it's not necessarily like every marketing platform that's available is the marketing platform you use. And what you will find is that, okay, let's say about Facebook. Once you tell as many people as you can on Facebook, you're going to find out where the limits of that are. You're going to find out, Facebook has changed to an ads platform to where I can only really get access to so many people with a Facebook status. Now I have to learn how to run Facebook ads. Your mission should become, once you have made your product and packaged your product, making it, doing the research and development for it, and then packaging it is important so that it can compete on the open market. And then after you've done that part, you have to tell us, you have to tell as many people as you can about it. 1,000 new people per day, per product. Like me, I'm good at conversation. So I have a desire to talk to people one-on-one because I'm good there. But I know that eventually that will reach a limit. There's only so many people you can do. So then it's like, well, let me take those conversations, put them in an ad, and then that ad needs to reach 1,000 people a day.
Yeah.
Or you create a referral. There's ways that you can, there's different ways you can do it. But the ultimate thing is make a dope product and then tell as many people as you can. And like I'm saying, because many artists feel illegitimate, they stop at the telling people part. They make the dope thing and then they don't go as far as, or if they tell like the first 20 people, they have a misunderstanding about the economies of scale. You tell 20 people and none of them bought it. So now you're demoralized. You should tell 1,000 people and then you'll get your real number. If you tell 1,000 people and 2 of them bought it, then you have something to work with. If I tell 5,000 people, 10 people will buy it. Like you have to scale up your idea, because once you tell your family and friends and then they say what they say, I was telling one of my friends the other day who didn't know that I was a singer. She heard me singing and she cracked jokes. And it took me a long time to get over the idea that other people might not want me to sing. Because I started out as spoken word and rap. And so when I started singing, I wasn't good at it. But I literally have done this process on my own. I've worked to create my own personal authority as a singer so that other people can't face me. And then we just was able to joke about it. But literally maybe 6 years ago or so, if she had said that, I would have been devastated. I would have went in my room and shut the door and stopped singing. And, you have to work through it.
Yeah.
So that's the mission. Tell as many people as you can.
Now, this is Music for Global Change. So I got to ask this question. Who were some of your favorite social conscious music heroes?
Erykah Badu, Lauryn Hill. I have connection to like the legacy acts, right? But I came up in a real interesting space. So I was born into several different set apart spiritual communities. So I was born into the Ansar Allah community, and inside of that community, we produced all our own music. Like we didn't listen to outside artists, And some of my music heroes are people you may never heard of. You know what I'm saying? From there, I moved on to the Hebrew Israelites of Jerusalem. And, my favorite artist who actually just made transition last year, her name is Akot Adaya. She has an album called Eternal. It was such a life affirming album for me. I was only 13 when it came out, but because I loved that album so much and her as like a community celebrity, that's the only way I even relate to other people relating to celebrity. My culture was Hebraic. And so, I have some of those that my parents made sure I listened to from the popular culture, like Lauryn Hill or like Andre 3000. But as a hero, a lot of our musicians, man, was just people that we knew who just sang the truth and praised God through music. So that the main one is Akot Adaya. There's a group called the Soul Messengers that was founded in the Kingdom of Yoahzer, Jerusalem, that has a real big influence on my younger life in music, but as a personal hero, when I think about myself as a singer, I like to imitate, or I like to cast myself in the direction of a mixture between Erykah Badu and Lauryn Hill.
Okay. Tom, you got a question?
The only thing to really ask is, how do people get in touch with you, with what you're doing and with everything that you're involved in?
You just follow me on Instagram. It's Baba Yoahzer, BABAYOEHZER. I post about things there. When I do separate channels for the Monday Night Vibe Out, again, we had some old channels. We lost them. We got to make some more. Yeah. You'll see me post about it on my Instagram page. Because right now it's a brain baby of the 2 hosts, so we're creating it, getting the LLC and all that stuff done. So, but you'll be able to see it.
Well, I look forward to that.
Namaste.
Namaste, for sure.
Great to meet you.
Hey, absolutely. I appreciate the conversation. I love to stay in conversation with you guys, and I like the show.
Most definitely. Well, thanks for coming on, brother. I love you.
Save the world.
Thank you so much for watching. To stay up to date, please click subscribe and hit the bell. You can also join our group on Facebook and find us on LinkedIn and Instagram.